Dear students of class 10A and 10B, today's topic, the Supreme Court. The following points mentioned in the board, please look at it. As per the following points, I am going to teach you the lesson. First point, term of office. Term of office. I shall teach you term of office. As per the constitutional procedure, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court and other judges of the Supreme Court and other courts, high courts, cannot be removed. They can be removed only when a proposal of impeachment is brought against their names. In that case, judges can be removed from the office. But who will bring the proposal of impeachment? Whenever the proposal of impeachment is brought against any judge of the High Court or the High Courts or the Supreme Court, an impartial tribunal is set up to make an inquiry with necessary informations whether the proposal of impeachment brought against that particular judge is right or wrong. The informations, whatever they collect from different sources, justifies it whether the proposal of impeachment is right or wrong. If it is proved the proposal of impeachment is right, in that case, the office of the president would use only one term, proved. Means proved. The allegation, whatever has been brought against that particular judge, is proved. Proved misbehavior or incapacity. The judge is removed by the president, but one chance is given to that judge. And in that case, the judge has to prove whether he is innocent, whether he is capable enough. If he is able to prove that allegation brought against his name is not right, he is capable enough to shoulder his responsibilities as a judge of the Supreme Court or High Courts, in that case, he will be able to hold his office. Besides, a judge of the Supreme Court can hold his office until he attains the age 65 years. And during his tenure of 65 years, he cannot be removed from his office until and unless a proposal of impeachment is brought against his name. In our judicial procedure, one judge of the Supreme Court named Justice V. Ramaswamy, he was the judge of the Supreme Court named Justice V. Ramaswamy. In the year 1993, a proposal of impeachment was brought against his name and he was given chance to prove it, but he failed to prove, and ultimately he was removed by the president under the proved misbehavior and incapacity, he was removed from his office. He failed to prove it. The Supreme Court is situated in Delhi. Since Delhi is our capital of India, Supreme Court is situated in Delhi. But under the proposal of President and the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court can sit in any other place if they wish, but it is not possible because it is not a, it is not a matter of joke. Today it will sit in Delhi and next day it will sit in Mumbai and another day in Kolkata. It is not a matter of joke. So the place of Supreme Court is in Delhi, the capital of our country, India. Now, what is about the system of independence of the judiciary? Independence of judiciary from the control of executive and legislature is very important. But to some extent, our next, I'm going to discuss about, our, appointment of judges. Second point, appointment of judges. Independence of the judiciary from the control of executive and legislature is very important, my dear students. Now why? Because the judiciary, as per the constitution, judicial procedure should be followed impartially without being controlled by any other organ like executive, legislature, like that. But to some extent, in some cases, executive controls the process of appointment along with the president. How? Generally, judges are appointed by the President of India. The Chief Justice, judges of the Supreme Court, judges of the High Courts, they all are appointed by the President, but in consultation with the Council of Ministers, the Cabinet, or the Prime Minister, without being consented or without being consulted by the Cabinet. The President cannot appoint any judge of the Supreme Court or High Courts. So in that case, there is an indirect control of the executive. The executive controls the process of appointment of judges with the help of the President of India. It is the system of the Constitution of India. During the time of appointment, the executive can enjoy its liberties. Now, next point, removal of judges. Removal of judges. As I told you earlier, the judges can be removed by bringing allegations allegations like incapability or proved misbehavior brought by the President of India. Whenever the President uses the term proved, the judge has to resign or the President removes him from his office. A chance is given, as I told you earlier. But in that case, that particular judge is supposed to prove whether the allegations brought against his name is right or wrong. But that once again that term comes proved. If the judge fails to prove it, the allegations brought against his name is right or wrong. The allegations brought against his name is wrong or right. If he fails to prove it to be wrong, in that case, that particular judge has to resign or the President would remove him. The President removes him. But if that particular judge proves to be innocent, free from all kinds of allegations, in that case, that very judge is able to be the judge of that particular court and continues his works independently. A chance is given as per the system of the Constitution. As I mentioned one example about judge of the Supreme Court V. Ramaswamy in the year 1993. An allegation was brought against his name, incapability, and he failed to prove it in the House, and then he was removed because it is a system of impeachment. Bringing the proposal of impeachment is discussed thoroughly in presence of the members of both houses of parliament, and with 2/3 majority of the total membership of the house. Whenever it is passed, in that case, the judge has to resign. The judge has to resign. And in that case, it is proved that the judge failed to prove that very allegation brought against his name wrong. And in that case, that very person has to resign, or President generally removes him. Next point, my dear students, security of tenure. Security of tenure, what is this? Security of tenure, each and every, judge and their salaries, security of tenure, the judges, a judge can remain in his office till he has attained the age of 65 years, as I told you earlier. Till he has attained the age of 65 years. And he can be removed by the President on the ground of proved misbehavior or incapacity. This is the security of tenure. A judge cannot be removed from his office until and unless a proposal of impeachment is brought against his name. And the proposal brought against his name has to be proved in presence of the members and the total members of the House, and with the votes of the total members of 2/3 majority in the House. The proposal has to be thoroughly examined and discussed, and During that time, the judge is given a chance to prove whether the allegations brought against his name right or wrong. If he fails to prove it, the judge is removed by the president, by the order of president. And next point, security of salaries and service condition. Security of salaries and service condition. You know, my dear students, the judges are paid their salaries from the consolidated fund. The salaries and allowances are charged on the consolidated fund of India, and so are not subject to vote on the parliament. It is not a subject to vote of parliament. Salaries cannot be reduced except declaration of national financial emergency. Only during the period of financial emergency, the salaries of the judges are generally reduced. But it is temporary measure. Generally, their salaries are not reduced by the president. Generally, salaries, allowances, etc., shall not be changed to their disadvantage during their term of office. It is actually the system of the constitution. But the salaries of the judges can be reduced only when financial emergency is declared in the country by the president. Otherwise, their salaries cannot be reduced. The judges are provided with many allowances, many privileges in terms of their independence. The judges are provided with sufficient and adequate security. Securities are there to protect him, because the responsibilities the judges usually shoulder by way of crossing, by way of, providing trial or justice against unjust act of misery committed by any offender during the process of question answering or cross exam, when the judges do not go for cross exam or question answering. It is not the system of the judicial procedure, but only the lawyers, advocates, they ask various types of questions to the offenders or guilty, and judges hear the process of question answering and notes down the main points related to the case study, and finally he gives his verdict. And sometimes the judges are to face, sometimes judges face many problems. That's why they are provided adequate securities by our country, so that they must provide impartial judgment without treating anyone else to be powerful one or an ordinary one. That's why they are given special, honor. They are given many allowances, and they are given adequate security. Not only that, they are allowed to provide judgment impartially without being threatened or without being, that means the judge always has to shoulder duties and responsibilities without having any fear. The judge has to be fearless. The judge has to be steady in giving his judgment, because he is given enough security, enough allowances, enough assistance, enough facilities by our country. That's why judges are always independent in giving their verdict. Up to this, my dear students. Thank you.